This is verse 10 of the 13th chapter, Gospel of John. We're in the midst of the drama of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. Peter has protested that he wouldn't allow Jesus to wash his feet, but of course the ensuing interaction causes Peter to then change his mind radically and say, well, then wash all of me, wash my head and my hands as well, tantamount to saying, give me a bath. And of course Jesus now wants to correct that. And so we have verse 10, which attempts to do that. So we have lege, third person singular, present active indicative of lego, I say. Present tense here, so he says, auto, indirect object, dative, singular, masculine. He says to him, the subject, ho Jesus, Jesus says to him. And then the definite article here, masculine, singular, nominative, the. And then lelumenos. This is from luo. It means to wash, but it's a little different from nipto, which we also have in this context, which means to wash as well. The word luo is really to wash, as in to take a bath. It usually had to do with an entire washing. And so it's important that these two words are distinguished here. So here we have the participle. It's the perfect passive participle, masculine singular nominative, so passive voice here. The having washed one is the idea. It's perfect, so it means the one who has washed and remains washed. You might say has taken a bath, and the effects of the bath persist. And so the having washed one, uk, the negation, in front of eke, third person singular, present active indicative of echo, I have, so he has, with the negation does not have. So the having washed one does not have. Crayon, the word for need, a necessity, does not have a need. And then these two taken together, a may, except in the case, this is the a may, or some form of that will usually mean except, if not literally, but except. And then tous podos, except the feet. So he doesn't have a need of a full bath, you might say, except the feet, nipsasthai. So putting it together, the having washed one does not have need except for the feet to be washed, with the infinitive here in the middle form. So only the feet may have gotten dirty, of course, walking around. The body may be generally clean, but nevertheless, that little bit of dirt may abide, and that requires it. That's, of course, been commonly taken as the idea that people who belong to Christ have somehow been definitively washed. Peter will speak on another occasion, of course, the very man who's involved in this conversation, of the washing of regeneration. That there is a washing that takes place. It's symbolized, signified by baptism, but it's something that takes place within. It is the answer of a clear conscience before God, Peter otherwise says, and so it seems to be an allusion to that. Strong conjunction here, Allah, estin, but it is, or he is, katharos, the word for cleansed, this adjective here, he's clean. And then holos, he is entirely clean. That is to say, his entire body is clean. The only thing that may need to be a little bit washed here would be the feet. And then he continues saying, kai humes, and you, katharoi, you, plural. Of course, the nominative, plural of the second person pronoun. So you, katharoi, cleansed, esta, from ami, I am, second person plural. Present active indicative, and you are clean, referring not simply, obviously, here to Peter, but to all of them. But then he leaves the exception, Allah, but uki, the negation here, not pantes all, an allusion, as we're going to see, to Judas. So Jesus is saying that all of these disciples, save Judas, have been cleansed. There has been a regenerative impact that's taken place by virtue of the word of Christ. Regeneration occurs by virtue of the word. That's kind of a common theme through the scriptures. But of course it hadn't applied to Judas. He was the notable exception. A member externally, you might say, of the church, but not internally, or as Augustine might say, a member of the visible church, but not the invisible.